Chosen one, unlock your spirit and receive this truth right now. You know exactly how it feels, don't you? To be a ghost in a room full of people. To walk into a family gathering and see that look in their eyes. It is not hatred. It is something far worse. It is pity. They look at you and they think your time had passed. They think the Creator has developed amnesia concerning your name. They whisper behind your back about your failed business, your broken relationships, and your silent phone. But listen closely to what the Spirit is saying to you today. That pity you see is actually the camouflage for the greatest shock of your life. You are not standing in the back because you were rejected. You are standing backstage because you are the main event. The teacher is always silent right before he hands out the graduation papers. The curtain is about to rise. Everyone who thought you were forgotten is about to realize you were just being hidden for the ultimate unveil. If you feel like a broken vessel today, discarded and useless, I have a message from the throne for you. You are in the company of kings. David was anointed to be king, yet he felt like human debris in the caves of Adullam. Do not leave this video halfway. What you are experiencing is a specific spiritual protocol. If you leave now, you will leave with the diagnosis, but without the cure. But if you stay with me until the very last second, I am going to hand you the guest list protocol. I am going to show you exactly how to behave at the table. God is preparing in front of the very people who mocked you. We are going to cover the 7 specific forms of confrontation the enemy will launch when your breakthrough hits. This is your roadmap out of the shadows. Do not click away. Let us zoom into that moment. You know the one I am talking about. It is that reunion with old friends you tried so hard to avoid. You are standing there, holding a drink you do not even want, hoping no one notices the struggle written on your face. But then it happens. Someone walks up with that polite, condescending smile and asks the question you dread most. So, what are you doing these days? Is that business still going? Did you ever get that breakthrough you talked about? In that split second, you feel it. A heat rising up your neck. A tightness in your chest like an invisible hand squeezing your lungs. You want to disappear. You mumble a vague answer about things being good, but inside you are screaming. You feel like a fraud. You feel like a failure. You feel like a public spectacle of delay. You wonder if they can see the shame radiating off you. This is an ancient pain. In the book of Psalms, chapter 31, verse 12, David describes this exact psychological state. He says, I am forgotten as a dead man out of mind. I am like a broken vessel. Listen to that language. Forgotten as a dead man. That means people look at you and they do not even factor you into the equation anymore. To them, your potential is deceased. You are like a cracked clay pot sitting in the dark corner while the shiny new vessels get all the attention. But here is the twist. There is a massive difference between something that is forgotten in a junkyard and something that is hidden in a vault. One is left out because it is worthless. The other is locked away because it is priceless. You are not in a grave, chosen one. You are in a safe. God is saying to you right now, I do not leave my diamonds on the front lawn. I do not leave my heavy glory exposed to the elements. I have not forgotten you. I have insulated you. The darkness you feel is not the dirt of a grave. It is the velvet lining of a divine safe. Notice that feeling of restriction you have been fighting. That sense that every time you try to move forward, you hit a wall. Every time you try to announce yourself, the sound dies in your throat. You have felt like you are suffocating. But right now, I want you to reframe that sensation. Imagine that the pressure you feel is not the weight of the world crushing you, but the thickness of a steel fortress surrounding you. That silence is not emptiness. It is soundproofing. You are in a high-security vault. Do not fight the walls. Lean against them. They are there to hold you together while you undergo a transformation that the world is not yet ready to see. In the book of Psalms, chapter 31, verse 20, the scripture says, "You shall hide them in the secret of your presence from the pride of man." The word used for hide is not about losing something. It is about concealing something for protection. God knows that if He released you prematurely, the jealousy of others would assassinate your character before your destiny had time to root. He knows that if you were on display right now, the specific enemies assigned to your bloodline would target you while you are still developing your armor. The silence is your shield. The invisibility is your cloak. By keeping you hidden, God is literally blinding the enemy to your location. They think you are finished because they cannot see you on the radar, but you are just flying in stealth mode until the payload is ready to drop. Think about an arrow in a quiver. It is in total darkness. It feels like it is doing nothing while the bow is being carried, but while it is in the quiver, it is being kept straight. If it were left out, the humidity would warp the wood, and when it was finally shot, it would miss the mark. You feel like you are doing nothing right now. You feel like you are just sitting in the dark waiting, but you are being kept straight. God is ensuring that when He finally pulls you back and releases you, you will fly true. You will not warp under the pressure of success. You will not bend under the weight of the glory. The world sees an empty stage. God sees a green room where the main character is getting into costume. The plastic chairs are fading in the sun. Let them fade. You are being preserved for a moment that will shock the foundations of everyone who doubted you. But I know it gets lonely in that vault. I know the heart still aches for connection. And in the deep silence of that safe, there is a letter. It explains exactly how this isolation had to take so long and why it is about to end. Chosen one, I want you to imagine opening that letter we found in the secret vault. The paper is worn because the Creator has been holding it close to His heart, waiting for the exact moment you would be ready to hear it. This is what He is speaking over your spirit right now. He says, "My child, I know you think I am punishing you. I know you think I am angry because of that mistake you made years ago. But you are looking at this through the eyes of an orphan, not a son or a daughter. I did not hide you to hurt you. I hid you because if I had put you on that stage when you first asked for it, the wolves would have eaten you alive. I saw you that night in the bathroom, staring at yourself in the mirror with tears running down your face, asking why it had to be so hard. I saw you when you typed out that text message to your ex or to that toxic friend, desperate for a crumb of connection, and then you deleted it. I was proud of you then. I am not deaf to your prayers, but I had to keep you in the quiver because your assignment is too big for a half-baked character. I am not raising you to be a flash in the pan. I am raising you to be a general, and generals are forged in the lonely dark, not in the spotlight. But I know that even as you hear this, there is a shadow lurking in the back of your mind. There is a dark, nagging thought that you are afraid to say out loud because it sounds ungrateful. We have to shine a light on it right now. It is the fear of lost time. I hear your thoughts. They are raw. They are honest. You are thinking, God, I understand the protection, but look at the calendar. I am getting older. I see the gray hairs coming in. I see the wrinkles forming. My friends are buying their second homes, having their third child, reaching the peak of their careers, and I am still here starting over from scratch. You feel like you missed the bus. You feel like even if the blessing comes now, you are too exhausted to enjoy it. You feel like the best years of your life were eaten by the struggle. This is a valid pain. Do not suppress it, but you are measuring your life by Chronos time, which is the ticking of the clock on the wall. God operates in Kairos time, which is the appointed divine moment. There is a specific spiritual law regarding time that you need to activate right now. It is found in the book of Joel, chapter 2, verse 25. You have heard it before, but you have never heard it like this. The verse says, "So I will restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten." Most people read the word restore and think it means getting back what you lost. Like if you lost $10, God gives you $10 back. But the original Hebrew word used here is shalom. And shalom does not just mean to give back. It means to make whole, to complete, and most importantly, to compensate. In legal terms, when you sue for damages, you do not just get the value of what was stolen. You get punitive damages. You get paid for the pain. You get paid for the delay. When God says he will shalom the years, he is saying, I am going to put so much blessing, so much acceleration, and so much joy into your next year that it will outweigh the pain of the last 10 years combined. It is the physics of the slingshot. The further back you are pulled, the more tension is created. You feel like you are moving backward while everyone else is walking forward. But the moment God releases his finger, you will fly past them in a millisecond. You will cover in 1 year what took them 20 years to build. That is not just poetry. That is the mechanics of restoration. Your delay was not a denial. It was a gathering of potential energy. So right now, I want you to perform a mental act with me. Do not move your body. Just use your mind. I want you to visualize a clock. A heavy, old clock that represents all the time you think you have lost. It is ticking loudly, stressing you out, mocking your age. Now, in your mind, I want you to visualize yourself taking that clock off the wall. Feel the weight of it. And now imagine handing that clock to God. Visualize his hands taking it from you, and the moment he touches it, the hands on the clock spin wildly and then disappear. He is taking control of your timeline. If you can see that in your spirit, if you are willing to let go of the anxiety of aging and delay, I want you to type a simple declaration in the comments. Type, I trust your timing. Type it as a signal to the heavens that you are done watching the clock and you are ready to watch God move. Because here is the truth. God does not just want to pay you back for the time. He wants to clear your name. He knows that people have whispered about you. He knows they have mocked your waiting. He knows they have labeled you as a has-been or a never was. And he is not just going to bless you in private where no one sees. He is planning a specific event, a public event. It is not enough for you to be blessed. You must be vindicated. God is about to initiate a protocol that will force the very people who pitied you to watch you eat. This event has a name, and it is the strategy that will change everything for you in the next season. This public event has a code name in the spirit, and it is the Psalm 23 protocol. Now I know what you are thinking. You have heard Psalm 23 1,000 times. You think it is a soft, gentle song about green pastures and quiet waters. You think it is about comfort, but you are wrong. Psalm 23 is not a lullaby. It is a war chant. It is a declaration of supreme dominance in the middle of a conflict. And the climax of this war chant is found in verse 5, a verse that holds the secret to your entire situation right now. The scripture says, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies." Stop. Read that again in your spirit. In the presence of your enemies. Have you ever asked yourself why they are there? If God is so powerful, why didn't he just remove them? Why keep the toxic boss, the lying ex, the jealous family members, and the mockers around? Why did he invite them to the breakthrough? Here is the twist that is going to shock you. The enemies are not crashing the party. They are the waiters. They are the audience. They are the necessary backdrop for your vindication. God kept them alive. He kept them in your circle. He kept them watching you specifically for this moment. If he had removed them while you were in the valley, they would never see you on the mountain. And God is not satisfied with just blessing you. He demands that your blessing be witnessed by the very people who cursed you. The table is being set right now. The silver is being polished. The guest list is finalized. And the very people who thought you were finished are about to get a front row seat to your resurrection. But you must be careful, because how you sit at this table determines if you stay at the table. Are you ready for the rules of the feast? We need to go deeper into the original language to understand the violence of this promise. The Hebrew word used for prepare in this verse is arak. It does not just mean to set a fork and a knife on a tablecloth. Arak is a military term. It means to arrange in a row, to put in order, or to draw up in battle formation. When the Bible says God is preparing a table, it is saying God is deploying a tactical formation. The table is not a buffet. It is a weapon. The food on that table is not just sustenance. It is ammunition. God is arranging your blessing in a specific battle formation right in front of the people who tried to destroy you. Imagine this scene with me. Visualize a long banquet table covered in the finest white linen. It is piled high with the things you have been praying for. The career breakthrough, the financial freedom, the restored reputation, and the peace of mind you thought was gone forever. You are sitting at the head of this table, but standing around the walls of the room behind a velvet rope are the people who pitied you. The ones who said you were too old. The ones who said you were crazy. The ones who betrayed you and left you for dead in the valley. They are not allowed to sit. They are not allowed to eat. They are forced to watch. They are forced to so that the very person they tried to bury is now being served by the King of Kings. This is the ultimate revenge of God. Human revenge is messy. You yell, you fight, you try to prove them wrong on social media. That is low level. Divine revenge is a table. It is you flourishing so massively that your enemies have no choice but to acknowledge that the hand of God is on you. This is why you cannot block them yet. This is why you cannot run away from them. They are currently being gathered for the show. Think about Mordecai in the Bible. Haman built a gallows to hang him. God could have just killed Haman in his sleep. That would have been easy. But God wanted the Psalm 23 protocol. He orchestrated a sleepless night for the king, which led to Haman, the enemy, being forced to lead Mordecai through the streets on a royal horse, shouting, "This is what is done for the man the king delights to honor." Can you imagine the look on Haman's face? That is the table. Haman had to announce the glory of the man he wanted to kill. Think about Joseph. His brothers threw him in a pit. God could have sent Joseph to a different country where he would never see them again. But the famine, the orchestration of God, forced those same brothers to bow down in front of Joseph in Egypt and beg him for bread. They had to eat from the hand of the one they betrayed. That is the table. Chosen one. The people who walked out on you. The people who fired you. The people who laughed at your dreams. They are currently being positioned by the Holy Spirit. They think they are winning because they see you in the pit, but they do not know that the pit is just the elevator to the palace. God is keeping them healthy and keeping them watching so that they do not miss the moment when the elevator doors open. So the next time you see them, do not get angry. Do not let your blood pressure rise. Look at them with spiritual eyes and realize, you are just here to watch me eat. You are just here to verify my miracle. You are a prop in my testimony. This changes everything. It turns your anger into confidence. It turns your fear into anticipation. You are not a victim waiting to be crushed. You are a VIP waiting for the curtain to drop. But here is the danger. Here is the warning that most people miss. Being invited to the table is one thing. Knowing how to behave at the table is completely different. When the moment of vindication comes, when the shock hits, and you are sitting there with the blessing while your enemies are watching, your flesh will want to react. You will want to say, "I told you so." You will want to look at them and gloat. You will want to pull out your phone and post a caption to make them jealous. If you do that, you will be disqualified from the table immediately. There is a very specific spiritual etiquette for this moment. A code of conduct for the vindication dinner. One wrong word, one wrong look, one moment of arrogance, and the enemy can flip the table over. To keep the blessing, you must master the guest list protocol. This protocol consists of 3 non-negotiable rules. You need to write these on the tablet of your heart, because when the adrenaline of victory hits you, your natural instinct will be to violate all 3 of them. Rule number 1 is do not gloat. This is the hardest one. When you see the shock on their faces, when you see the people who fired you now asking for your help, everything in your flesh will want to celebrate their humiliation. But listen to the law in Proverbs chapter 24, verse 17. It says, "Do not rejoice when your enemy falls." If you gloat, God stops dealing with them. Your arrogance interrupts the divine justice. When you mock your enemy, you step out of the spirit and into the flesh. You become just like them. The moment you start enjoying their pain, the table disappears. Your vindication must be dignified. It must be silent. Let God be the judge. You just be the evidence. Rule number 2 is do not explain. They will come to you fishing for information. They will ask, "How did you do this? I thought you were broke." They want to humanize your breakthrough to make themselves feel better. Do not cast your pearls before swine. You owe them no explanation. Kings do not explain their decrees to peasants. Your results are the explanation. And rule number 3 is just eat. Your only job at a table is to eat. That means you focus entirely on the provision, not the spectators. Enjoy the blessing. Drive the car, live in the house, walk in the peace. When you focus on the food, it shows that you are so secure in your position that the presence of your enemies does not even disturb your appetite. That is the ultimate flex. I know this sounds difficult, but I am going to tell you a story about a man who applied this protocol and saw his enemies literally pushed out by the glory of God. But before we get there, you need to understand that the enemy is a legalist. When he realizes that his silence didn't break you, and when he realizes that you are not falling for the trap of gloating, he will switch tactics. He will move from passive observation to active sabotage. And you need to be ready for the cowardly form of confrontation that is coming next. Let me tell you a story about a chosen one who applied this protocol perfectly. I will not use his real name, but let us call him David. About 2 years ago, David was working in a corporate environment where his direct manager was determined to destroy him. This manager, let us call him Saul, was the embodiment of the strife of tongues we discussed earlier. Saul stole credit for David's best ideas, spread toxic rumors about his competence, and blocked him from every single promotion opportunity. David spent his lunch breaks praying in his car, crying out to God for justice because he felt like a ghost in his own office. He felt forgotten. He felt like the broken vessel David mentioned in the Psalms. But then, the shift happened. The kind of sudden acceleration we call Kairos time. The CEO of the company came down for a surprise visit and, through a series of God-ordained coincidences, ended up in a deep conversation with David. Within 48 hours, the entire structure of the department changed. David was not just promoted. He was given a newly created position that reported directly to the CEO. He was moved into a glass office that looked out over the entire floor. And here is the kicker, the ultimate Psalm 23 moment. Saul, his old bully, now had to report to David. This was the table. God prepared it right in the presence of his enemy. Now, David's flesh had a long list of things it wanted to do. David could have fired Saul immediately. He could have made Saul's life a living hell. He could have walked past Saul's desk every single morning and made sarcastic comments to humiliate him in front of the team. But David was a general in training, and he knew the guest list protocol. He chose to stay on the wall. He applied rule number 1. He did not gloat. He treated Saul with absolute stone-cold professionalism. He did not bring up the past betrayals. He did not smirk when Saul had to hand him reports. He applied rule number 2. He did not explain. When Saul awkwardly asked how David managed to get the CEO's attention so quickly, David didn't brag about his prayers or his talent. He just looked him in the eye and said, "I am just grateful for the opportunity to serve," and then he went back to work. Finally, he applied rule number 3. He just ate. He focused on doing his new job with such excellence that his success became undeniable. And do you know what happened? The pressure of David's kindness and the weight of David's success became so heavy on Saul that Saul could not take it. The atmosphere of the office had changed. 3 months later, Saul resigned. He told a coworker that he just could not stand being in that environment anymore. The presence of the Lord on David pushed the enemy out without David ever having to lift a finger in anger. He did not fight, he just ate. This is available to you, chosen one, but you need to practice it now before the big break comes. You likely have a family gathering coming up, or a run-in with an old friend who doubled down on your failure, or perhaps a text from an ex who thinks you are still stuck in the pit. That is your practice ground. I want you to visualize this right now. Create a mental image of your own table. You are sitting at a banquet table covered in gold. Across from you is that person who doubted you the most. In front of you is a plate filled with the manifestation of your prayers. In this visualization, I want you to see yourself picking up a fork, taking a bite, and smiling. Not a smile of arrogance, but a smile of deep, satisfied peace. You do not speak to them. You do not look at them with anger. You just enjoy the meal provided by your Father. Feel the taste of the food. Feel the security of the room. If you can hold that image, you are ready. You are ready to handle the heavy weight of vindication. But I must warn you, the enemy is a legalist, and he is not stupid. When he realizes that his silence didn't break you, and when he sees that you are not falling for the trap of gloating, he will switch tactics. He will move from passive observation to active sabotage. Because he cannot stop the blessing from coming to your house, he will try to poison it once it arrives. There is a specific, cowardly form of confrontation that launches exactly 72 hours after your public victory. The moment you sit at the table and begin to eat, the atmosphere in the spirit realm shifts violently. The enemy realizes he can no longer block the door, so he tries to poison your appetite. He wants you to be the one who flips the table over. And he does this through 3 specific forms of confrontation that will launch almost immediately after your breakthrough becomes public. You need to recognize them the second they appear, or you risk losing the peace you worked so hard to build. The first form is the spirit of jealousy. This is rarely a loud scream. It is a quiet, subtle hiss. It looks like a friend who congratulates you, but their smile does not quite reach their eyes. It sounds like a backhanded compliment that leaves a bitter taste in your mouth. They might say, "Must be nice to be God's favorite," or, "I guess money really does change people." You will feel a sudden shift in the energy of your inner circle. The group chat that used to be active suddenly goes bone dry silent the moment you share your good news. When this happens, do not take it personally. Their jealousy is not actually about you. It is about the light you are carrying, which exposes their own stagnation. You cannot dim your light just to comfort their demons. But jealousy is just the beginning. The enemy has a much more violent weapon waiting in the wings: character assassination. Are you prepared to stay on the wall when the lies start flying? The second form of confrontation the enemy will launch against you is much more violent than jealousy. It is character assassination. This is the weapon of last resort for a defeated foe. When the enemy realizes he cannot touch your destiny or stop the blessing from arriving at your door, he tries to destroy your reputation instead. He figures if he cannot stop you from being king, he will try to convince the people that you are a tyrant who doesn't deserve the crown. I want you to prepare your body for this right now, chosen one, because when it happens, it is going to feel like a physical blow. You will get a phone call from a concerned relative or see a screenshot from a hidden account, and someone will tell you what is being said about you behind closed doors. It will be a lie so twisted, so unfair, and so completely opposite to your true heart that it will literally knock the wind out of you. You will feel your stomach drop to the floor. You will feel a sudden burning heat rising in your chest and face. Your hands might start to shake with a righteous anger. In that moment, your mind will race with 1,000 ways to defend yourself. You will want to call them out publicly. You will want to post the receipts and show everyone the truth. You will want to scream until your voice breaks that it is not true. But in that moment of intense heat, you must activate the Nehemiah Strategy. This is your counter move to the enemy's desperate sabotage. In the Bible, Nehemiah was rebuilding the walls of Jerusalem. He was doing a great work for the kingdom. His enemies, Sanballat and Tobiah, realized they could not stop him physically or legally, so they tried to distract him with a lie. They sent him a message saying, "Come down from the wall. Let us meet together in the plains of Ono to discuss these rumors." They wanted a meeting. They wanted a discussion. They wanted him to clarify his intentions and defend his name. But listen to Nehemiah's response in the book of Nehemiah, chapter 6, verse 3. He did not get angry. He did not write a long press release to clear his name. He simply sent messengers back saying, "I am doing a great work so that I cannot come down. Why should the work cease while I leave it and go down to you?" This must become your mantra. Write it on your mirror so you see it every morning. I cannot come down. When they lie about your character, stay on the wall. When they gossip about your past mistakes, stay on the wall. When they try to bait you into a debate on social media, stay on the wall. You are too high up in the spirit right now to come down to the level of their dysfunction. The moment you stop building your destiny to address a rumor, you have given the enemy exactly what he wants: your attention. Your silence is not weakness, it is altitude. Let the wall you are building speak for you. The finished work is the only defense you will ever need. But the enemy won't stop there. The third form of confrontation is the bait of offense. The enemy knows your trigger points better than anyone. He knows exactly what makes you tick and what makes you explode. He will send someone you once trusted to disrespect you in a way that feels specifically designed to hurt your soul. They will overlook you for an invite. They will forget to credit you for your work. They will make a joke at your expense in a room full of people. This is a trap, chosen one. In the book of Luke, chapter 17, verse 1, it says, "It is impossible that no offenses should come." It is a spiritual guarantee. The bait will be thrown into your path, but you have a choice whether or not to bite that hook. The enemy wants you to get offended because offense disconnects you from the flow of God's grace. When you are offended, you are replaying the past instead of seizing the future. So right now, I want you to perform a mental act to seal your defense. Close your eyes for just a second. Visualize yourself standing on top of a massive, high stone wall that reaches into the clouds. You are wearing royal armor that shines like the sun. Down below, far in the distance, you see tiny figures shouting and waving their arms. Those are the distractions. Those are the lies. Those are the offenses. Can you see how small they are from up there? Now, in your mind, turn your back on them completely. Look at what is in front of you instead. It is your kingdom. It is your table. It is your future. Take a deep breath of that high altitude air. You are untouchable as long as you stay on the wall. If you can see that, if you can feel the safety of that height, I want you to type, "I am staying on the wall," in the comments right now. Let the enemy know his bait has failed. You are not coming down for a conversation with a demon. You have the armor, you have the guest list protocol, and now you have the Nehemiah defense. You are spiritually fortified for the shock that is coming. But there is one final piece of the puzzle that causes more anxiety than anything else. You know what is coming. You know how to handle it. But the question that keeps you up at 3 a.m. is when? Why does God seem to wait until the absolute last second? Why does he wait until the deadline has passed and the situation looks dead and buried? There is a specific, powerful reason for the delay. The answer to your timing is found in a tomb that had been sealed for 4 days, and it involves a smell that everyone else wanted to avoid. It is the Lazarus Protocol, and it is about to change the way you see every dead thing in your life. The answer to your timing is found in a tomb that had been sealed for 4 days. It involves a smell that everyone wanted to avoid, but Jesus walked right into. The answer is found in the book of John, chapter 11, verse 39. Jesus arrives at the tomb of his friend Lazarus, but he is 4 days late. Lazarus is not just sick anymore, he is dead. He is wrapped in grave clothes, sealed behind a heavy stone. And when Jesus asks them to roll away the stone, Martha, the practical sister, stops him. She says, "Lord, by this time there is a stench, for he has been dead 4 days." I want you to zoom into that location right now. Can you smell the air in that moment? It is the smell of finality. It is the smell of decay. It is the smell of a situation that has gone past the point of no return. Martha was essentially saying, "Lord, do not open this up. It is embarrassing. It is messy. It is too late. Everyone has already gone home, and the funeral is over." Chosen one, this is exactly where some of you are right now. You are looking at your bank account, your failing marriage, or your broken dream, and you are saying, "Lord, it stinks. It is humiliated. If you had come a year ago, maybe we could have saved it, but now it is dead and buried." But here is the logic of the 11th hour. Jesus waited on purpose. If he had come when Lazarus was just sick, it would have been a simple healing. People would have said, "Oh, Lazarus just had a strong immune system," or "the medicine finally worked." But by waiting until the body was decaying, Jesus removed every possible human explanation. When a dead man walks out of a tomb after 4 days, nobody says it was luck. Nobody says it was a coincidence. They have to say, "This is the finger of God." God waited until your situation got this bad so that when he shocks the world with your restoration, there will be no doubt who did it. The delay was not a denial. It was a setup for a miracle that defies the laws of nature. The stench is not a signal to walk away. It is the signal that the glory is about to hit your life. So what do you do in this window of time? Between the smell of death and the voice of resurrection, there is a critical transition period. I call this the 72-hour prep. You are likely in the final cycle before a major spiritual shift. You cannot just sit there passively. You must prepare your spirit to handle the high voltage of the shock that is coming. Your assignment for this phase involves 3 internal actions. First, you must perform a total mental detox. You need to stop rehearsing the funeral. Right now, your mind is addicted to the worst-case scenario. You are planning for the bankruptcy. You are writing the eulogy for your own destiny. Stop it. In John 11, Jesus commanded, "Take away the stone." You have to remove the stone of unbelief from the entrance of your mind. Every time a thought comes that says it is over, I want you to mentally visualize yourself rolling a heavy stone away to let the light in. Do not let the darkness settle. Second, you must engage in pre-forgiveness. This is crucial for the table God is setting. When Lazarus came out, he was bound in grave clothes. Jesus said to the people standing around, "Loose him and let him go." Think about that. The people who bound him were the ones who had to loose him. In your life, the people who wrote you off are going to be the ones who facilitate your next level. If you are holding on to bitterness, you are spiritually tying their hands. Forgive them now so that when God uses them to bless you, your heart is clean enough to receive it. Visualize their faces and say, "I release you so God can use you." Third, you must activate aggressive expectation. The signs of the pre-shock are already around you. One of the biggest signs is a sudden, unexplainable peace in the middle of chaos. It makes no sense. Your world is falling apart, but you are sleeping like a baby. That is not denial. That is your spirit sensing the resurrection before your eyes see it. Another sign is a sudden intensification of the attack. The enemy screams loudest right before he is evicted. If all hell has broken loose in the last few days, rejoice! The landlord is coming to clear the house. I want you to take a moment right now to center yourself. We are about to move into the most important part of this entire experience. We have diagnosed the pain. We have read the letter from the safe. We have set the table in front of your enemies. We have built the Nehemiah wall. We have prepared for the Lazarus shock. Everything is structurally in place. But in the courts of heaven, a verdict is not final until it is sealed. A decree is just a piece of paper until the king stamps it with his signet ring. We are about to step into the Supreme Court of the Spirit to officially register your vindication. This is not just a prayer. This is a legal transaction. I need you to gather all your faith and bring it into this moment. The king is on the bench. The gavel is raised. It is time to close this case once and for all. Wherever you are right now, whether you are in the dark, in your car, or moving through a noisy day, shift your internal posture. Shake off the dust of the valley. Straighten your spine. Fix your crown. Visualize yourself walking through the heavy double doors into the center of the Supreme Court of Heaven. The gallery is full of witnesses. The accuser is present, but the judge is your Father. Your presence is required for the final reading of the verdict. We are not here to beg. We are here to decree a thing, so that it shall be established. The silence you endured has been logged as time served. The king is ready to issue the release order. Chosen one, receive this commissioning right now. I charge you by the authority of heaven. Go back to your life, but do not go back as a victim. Go back as a general. Walk differently. Talk differently. When you see the plastic chairs on the front lawn fading in the sun, do not envy them. You know who you are. You are the diamond in the vault, and the banker has finally spun the dial. The door is opening. The light is flooding in. I declare that within the next 72 hours, you will see a sign. You will feel a shift. The atmosphere is clearing and the silence is breaking. The sound of an abundance of rain is approaching. Do not look back. Do not come down from your wall. Do not explain your blessing to those who didn't cry with you in the dark. Just eat. The case is closed. The verdict is in your favor. The enemy is silenced. The table is ready. Take your seat. It is done. It is sealed. It is yours. This story teaches us that silence is not absence, and delay is not denial. Being hidden by God is a form of divine protection, ensuring that when you finally emerge, your character is strong enough to carry the weight of your calling. True vindication doesn't come from our own hands, but from God's perfect timing in front of those who doubted us. If this message touched your soul and you believe the table is being set for you, comment 999 to claim this blessing. If you feel we can improve or have a different perspective, press 0 or leave your honest thoughts below. We value your voice. And most importantly, do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Your support gives us the strength to keep bringing these messages of hope and strategy to chosen ones all over the world.